land breeding program, the captive Indo-Chinese tiger population has seen a dramatic increase, growing from only 10 tigers in 1998 to 44 in 2004. More dangerous cargo will return on Modern Marvels. Handling radioactive materials is always dangerous. Even more so when doing it quickly is part of the equation. Radioactive pharmaceuticals have become important tools in modern medicine. After being injected into the body, they allow physicians to observe the cells at work. They are especially useful as an advanced form of cancer detection. However, there is a catch to their effectiveness. Some of the drugs have a potency lifespan measured only in hours.
One of the very short-lived radioactive pharmaceuticals is fluorodeoxyglucose. This material has a half-life of 110 minutes, which means approximately every 2 hours, 50% of the material decays by normal processes.
In order to rush the drug to hospitals and pharmacies in distant cities, drug manufacturers like Cardinal Health have turned to air carriers to transport them at high speeds. The success of the air carrier in delivering this radioactive material on time can literally be a matter of life and death to a patient waiting in some faraway city. Yet their transport must always be done with extreme caution. Here, Cardinal Health is creating a new shipment of the short-lived fluorodeoxyglucose, which is also known as FDG. A crucial moment in the process is when the drug is bombarded with radioactive protons in the lab's cyclotron.
During the bombardment process, a significant amount of radiation is generated by the proton bombardment. Therefore, we make sure that the vault is sealed and personnel entry is forbidden. All of our workers wear radiation monitoring devices to ensure that we monitor at all times exposures and exposure histories.
From this moment on, the drug is synthesized into a hazardous material, or hazmat, and is treated accordingly.
Following the synthesis of FDG, it's delivered directly into a lead-lined cabinet, which is called a hot cell. The walls of the lead cabinet are approximately 3 inches thick, as necessary to safely shield personnel during the handling of this material. We use remote manipulators, devices that allow the handling of the product from outside the hot cell.
Cardinal Health depends on techniques developed over the last half-century by the radiopharmaceutical industry. This industry is a direct byproduct of America's experiments with nuclear energy during World War II.
Radioactive materials in medicine, for all practical purposes, began in 1946 as an outshoot of the Manhattan Project in Oak Ridge, Tennessee. At that time, radioactive materials were distributed for research purposes to a number of hospitals in the U.S.
Due to the short-lived potency of the drugs, planes became the preferred mode for shipping them. However, regulations involving how the drugs were packaged and transported were sometimes violated. Several incidents involving radioactive leakage spurred a call for tighter regulations.
During the 1970s, a variety of situations arose where there was leakage or problems that occurred with packages that didn't meet sufficient standards to contain the radioactive elements.
The Transportation Safety Act of 1974 addressed these concerns, and the packaging and shipping of the drugs became more tightly regulated. Today, radioactive pharmaceuticals are transported in what are called Type A containers, which are made of lead or tungsten.
The Type A container is tested pursuant to government requirements to ensure the integrity of the product in drop test, puncture resistance, and other forms of damage that might routinely be expected to occur during shipment.
After being sealed, the container is checked for any radioactive leakage and labeled. Next, it's placed in a special metal box called an ammo can.
It's basically a container that's used by military, in prior use that is, to contain ammunition. Because these containers stand up well to the rigors of transportation, They've also been applied to the manner in which radioactive materials are often shipped today.
The canisters are given one last radiation check. Just 10 minutes after coming out of the hot cell, the pharmaceuticals are handed over to a driver for AirNet, a Columbus, Ohio-based Air Express company. Then it's off to the airport, 10 miles away. AirNet operates a fleet of Lear jets to speed their cargoes as quickly as possible.
Our system is built for speed. The backbone of our national air system is the Lear 35. It's a very dependable, fast aircraft. It's perfectly suited for the customer base that we serve.
Although traditional air carriers also carry radiopharmaceuticals, AirNet has found its niche in the air cargo business through specialization in the field.
The company handles quite a bit of dangerous goods, hazardous material, including the transportation of radioactive product, medicine, radiopharmaceuticals.
Because of its specially trained staff, AirNet can handle larger quantities of radioactive goods than traditional carriers.
We set out on a 9-month process to prepare our company with function-specific training to allow our handlers, pilots, loaders the experience to be experts in this industry. And we carry more time-critical radiopharmaceuticals than anyone else in the industry.
Once at the AirNet facility, the drugs are sent through a check-in procedure designed for efficiency and speed.
The shipment is reviewed to ensure that the packaging is in good condition, that all documentation has been completed.
Next, they're weighed. Finally, they're rushed to the plane. The sense of urgency is so great during the process that AirNet employees often run through their duties.
During our process, we expect all components to be done expeditiously and safely.
On the plane, the drugs are secured in the cargo hold.
The radioactive level of material in the aircraft is carefully monitored before takeoff to ensure that there are no issues.
With all in order, it's time for an immediate takeoff. It's been just 30 minutes since the drugs were manufactured. Flights rarely last more than 2 hours because of the urgency of getting the pharmaceuticals to the hospitals on time.
Think of it as a melting ice cube.
From its base in Columbus, Ohio, and with the Learjet speed of 440 nautical miles per hour, AirNet can easily deliver the drug to cities such as Chicago and New York within the 2-hour time frame.
So a patient is waiting on the other end of our shipment to know whether they have cancer or whether it's some other indication that the doctor is looking for. We must move expeditiously from the time we pick up the package to the time we tender it to our aircraft, to the time that aircraft lands, to the time it's delivered.
Now it's just a short trip for the drugs to the hospital. The delivery of this cargo on time is much more than just a delivery deadline met. It's an important mission accomplished in trying to prolong someone's life. The job of hauling dangerous cargo is full of peril, perhaps no more so than in times of war. During World War II, the Merchant Marine had to transport munitions through enemy submarine-infested waters. In the United States, over 14 million doses of radioactive pharmaceuticals are used annually in the diagnosis of disease. More dangerous cargo will return on Modern Marvels.